Forget the ICBMs, forget the spies, forget the wall. The real defining battleground of the Cold War wasn't fought in Berlin or Cuba. It was fought in the kitchen. By the late 1950s, the Soviets were pulling ahead. Sputnik proved they had the range. But what was powering their engineers? What sustained their cosmonauts? The American military knew its personnel, from the pilots flying high-altitude U-2 missions to the agents deep behind the Iron Curtain, were failing due to simple human fatigue. The challenge wasn't just to keep them alive. It was to keep them operating at a superhuman 100% efficiency for days on end. This wasn't a problem for generals. This was a problem for food scientists. And their answer was a classified initiative known only as Project Flavor. The stakes were existential. If a U-2 pilot lost focus for a second at 70,000 feet, the mission was compromised. If a spy couldn't think clearly after 48 hours without sleep, the consequences were devastating. Caffeine wasn't enough. Amphetamines were too unpredictable, leading to crashes and mistakes. The US needed a way to fuel the brain and body without the side effects. They needed biofuel. Project Flavor was born in the labs of Natick, Massachusetts, a joint venture between NASA, the Department of Defense, and a shadowy division linked to the CIA. Their mission was simple: engineer food that was fuel, not luxury. Their early attempts were, frankly, disastrous. They tried freeze-dried cubes, food crumbled into dust. They tried nutrient paste in aluminum tubes. It was universally despised by the astronauts. The problem wasn't just taste. The problem was that survival demanded consistency. The human body needed more than just calories. It needed cognitive endurance. The Soviets, meanwhile, were already experimenting with a powerful, concentrated extract derived from the forests of Siberia. What was it? The US had to catch up, but the answer wasn't in tubes. It was in biochemistry. The key breakthrough came not from a chef, but from a nutritionist obsessed with amino acids. They realized that the brain's ability to handle stress and stay awake was entirely dependent on its supply of specific chemical precursors. The focus shifted entirely to the precursors of neurotransmitters, the chemicals that transmit signals in the brain. The two targets, dopamine and norepinephrine.
Eureka, I've got it.
The scientists discovered that by heavily supplementing a high-protein diet with certain amino acids, they could essentially force the brain to produce more of these alertness chemicals. One molecule became the cornerstone of the entire program, L-tyrosine. This was the secret weapon. L-tyrosine is the precursor to the fight-or-flight hormone, adrenaline. By loading the body with L-tyrosine, the scientists believed they could create a constant, low-grade sense of readiness, a permanent state of high alert without the jittery side effects of caffeine. The result was the development of the cognitive endurance ration. This wasn't a full meal. It was a supplement schedule disguised as food. The Zero Waste Survival Bar, a dense, high-calorie, low-weight bar. Unlike traditional candy bars, this one was engineered with low glycemic index carbohydrates for slow release and fortified with the critical amino acids. It looked like a chocolate bar, but it was military-grade focus in solid form. The L-tyrosine microdose. This wasn't food at all. It was a powdered supplement, often mixed into a highly concentrated broth or disguised in a small energy drink, the forerunner to modern nootropics. The formula was simple, yet its impact on pilot fatigue was revolutionary. But L-tyrosine was only half the battle. If you stay awake for days, you have to manage the inevitable crash. The CIA's solution was to meticulously track the failure points of the Soviet diet. They found that Russian operatives often relied on dense, simple carbohydrates, leading to catastrophic blood sugar spikes and crashes. The American approach had to be smoother, subtler. The CIA's secret recipe wasn't a single dish or even a bar. It was a precise, scientifically formulated nutritional regimen centered around 3 key components, synchronized to boost the body's natural resilience. 1. L-tyrosine, taken in the morning and at midday peaks to maximize norepinephrine and dopamine production, maintaining cognitive function against sleep deprivation. 2. Vitamin B. The complex, high doses were administered to help the body manage the physical stress and hormonal fatigue caused by the prolonged state of alert. 3. Controlled microdoses of natural caffeine, used strategically, not to wake the agent up, but to potentiate the effect of the L-tyrosine. This was caffeine used as a surgical tool, not a blunt instrument. This regime, the true Cold War kitchen, allowed agents and pilots to maintain peak cognitive output for 60 to 72 hours, far exceeding the physical capabilities of their Soviet counterparts. This was the unseen factor that enabled the U-2 pilots to fly their incredibly precise routes, and the Apollo astronauts to execute flawless lunar missions. In the end, this simple biochemical formula became the unwritten rule of elite military and space operations. The US didn't just win the space race with better rockets. They won it with better fueled brains. The taste of victory wasn't sweet. It tasted like focus, discipline, and L-tyrosine. The true flavor of the space race was engineered, not cooked. Today, this Cold War research forms the foundation of modern nootropics, high-performance energy drinks, and nutritional support for special forces. Every time you reach for a productivity supplement, you are tasting the silent legacy of Project Flavor. The secrets of the Cold War weren't just about codes and dead drops. They were about the absolute limit of human performance. They built the future on something as basic as a bowl of synthesized amino acids. Which other untold history of the CIA would you like us to uncover next? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're ready to look deeper into the shadows of history, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next chapter of Discovery.